Hello and welcome to Everyday Matters. This is a live weekly show running 6 till 7 on Sangat TV. Now it's a show that's different from the shows that we've got currently on, so it's predominantly in English, but it's a dial-in show as well. So we talk about the topics that other shows and other Sikh communities don't really talk about, the taboo subjects, such as alcohol abuse, drugs, marriage and divorce, normal Sikh issues, adoption, abuse in the community, etc. So what we're doing is this shows it's for you, and it's by you. So any subjects that you think are important, please do get in touch with us. It's a live phoning show, and the number is 0121 516 2828. Today we're talking about alcohol abuse in the community and how it's such a big problem in the Sikh community. There's BBC reports that almost a third of all Sikhs know someone in their family and friends that has an alcohol addiction, and it's the highest affected community in the UK for chronic liver disease as well. So today we've got a special guest called Bhupinder Singh, also by the nickname of Tubsy. Hello and welcome to the show, and thanks for joining.
Thank you for having me, and first of all, Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Big Sat Sri Akal to all of your viewers on Sangat TV today, and I'm very pleased to be here to be able to talk about this.
So thanks for again coming into the show. So when we were looking for volunteers and people that could actually be a subject matter expert and has experience on that side, you put yourself forward saying that you've been you've had alcohol issues before, and you are actually helping people in the community now. So obviously it's a taboo subject, or in our community it's just passed on like, yeah, it's fine. But obviously from your experience, could you give a bit more about yourself and what you've been through and what you're doing now?
Luckily for me, it was my last drink was a very long time ago.
Yep.
But having said that, I have a constant reminder every day. I have a way of living now that's a constant reminder of where I used to be and what I used to be like, and that safeguards me today, from picking up a drink. Because like for a lot of people, and I'm going to say especially not for everybody, but for a lot of people that are in my situation, if I was to pick up a drink today, I'd go straight back to square one. That same addiction would ignite again.
What would you say is an addiction then? Because a lot of people will be watching the youngsters saying, "Oh, why are we talking at Sangat TV talking about alcohol?" Because they'll go to weddings Fridays, Saturdays, they'll drink 3 or 4 times a week, and they'll have 4 or 5 drinks, alcoholic drinks. Why is it? What is alcohol addiction? What is the big issue?
The big issue here is that I think culturally we are a sort of a drinking sort of culture, Punjabi culture.
Even though it's banned in our religion, we're not supposed to drink alcohol or.
I think this is where there's a very fine line between religion and culture, right? Yes, if you're initiated and you're Amritari Sikhs and they don't drink and they don't eat meat and everything else, but culturally as Punjabis, we can't get away from the fact that we do alcohol plays a big part in our culture.
Yeah.
We can, and this is one of the things that you talked about in your introduction about the taboos and sweeping it under the carpet. I mean, if we're on TV here, and I think one of the ways of eradicating a problem is to face it front on and be open and honest about it. And the top and bottom of it is that as a Punjabi culture, we, most of us, not everybody, right? Most of us, do have alcohol still plays a big part in our lives. If we get parone, visitors come to the house, what do? You put out
bring the alcohol,
put out a drink. You go to somebody else's house and they don't offer you a drink. You think, yaar kina diyaga. These guys have, and it's still frowned upon if alcohol isn't there. Weddings and parties, at happy occasions, we offer people a drink.
Yep.
What they do with that drink is up to them. That has to be said. We can't really blame the weddings and parties and everything else.
You're saying weddings and parties, but then how many people go round table to table pouring the drinks? It's sort of the drink pourer. It's almost seen like a god, almost, for example, giving the drinks out, and it's just the whole philosophy of knock it back, one for the road, and all that stuff that we get. When I look at other communities, English communities, Irish communities, whatever, Africa, Caribbean communities, they don't have that issue where, oh, come on, one for the road, come on, bija.
Well, this is coming back to what I said, as a cultural thing, that's sort of how we are. We're not saying to someone, pila, because we don't like them. We're saying it out of affection, out of khushi, out of happiness, saying, look, be a part of my happiness.
Yeah.
Right? 18 years ago, near enough to the day my eldest son was born, Amritpal, and I didn't drink.
Yeah.
But we had a function, and I myself poured drinks for our guests.
Yep.
You know, that wasn't because I didn't like them. If I didn't like them, I wouldn't have invited them in the first
Yeah.
place. So it wasn't out of spite.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like, right, I'm going to get you trolleyed so that you can't go to work tomorrow. It wasn't like that. You know, it was like, I'm happy, and I want you to share in my happiness. So that is what we, you know, we're a happy culture.
Yep.
Right? You know, we like dancing, we like music, you know, and all of that is a part of it. But where we've got to draw the line somewhere is that there are certain people that fall into the trap where one isn't enough.
Yep.
And, you know, once they've had one, and they have to carry on. Now that, again, isn't just specific to our culture, isn't just specific to Punjabis or Sikhs or anything like that. That, you know, that's the world over.
That's binge drinking, isn't it?
No. Binge drinking is when, like, you know, you don't drink Monday to Friday, but then, you know, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you go and have a lot of drinks in one go.
All right.
That's binge drinking.
Yep.
And, you know, there are government guidelines now into safe drinking. You know, there's alcohol units, which, you know, we could go into, you know, but the government guidelines are that for men and for women, the safe amount to drink a week is 14 units. And the government does say to have off days so that you don't drink every day.
Yep.
So say, for instance, 14 units, and you're thinking, right, 7 days I'll drink 2 units a day. They say, well, no.
2 units a day is nothing. That's 1 can.
Well, this is it.
1 can is that's the government,
Right.
and still to have that
And
off day.
And have a couple of off days to give your body a rest.
Yep.
Right. And but what they do say is not to go out and say, right, 14 units and let's have 7 cans on a Friday,
Yeah.
because that will hit your body all in one go.
Mhm.
Right. That's like taking a sledgehammer to your liver and say, right, you know, hitting it 7 times on a Friday.
Yep.
Right. So that is the guidelines, and like you said, 2 units is 1 can,
Yeah.
1 pint can of, you know, standard lager.
Yep.
Right. So that is the sort of safety guidelines. That's what people are saying now is the sort of level of drinking you should be at to maintain a healthy lifestyle. It's like saying 5 a day, you know,
Yeah.
with your fruit and veg. Right. That's where we're at.
So that's fine. People are talking about that. So in our community, because remember there was a BBC report which I keep going on, where, you know, a third of Sikh families have someone in the family who's got real chronic alcohol, which is almost an alcoholic, which we can say the term of, where they're addicted to alcohol on a daily basis. That's a third of the Sikh community knows someone in their family or friends that have that. And again, from chronic alcoholic liver disease, the Sikhs are the top community in the whole of the UK, and the NHS is struggling because of us, which is a real shame.
Well, it is a shame, but at least those stats are out now. You know, the BBC has taken an initiative. Channels like yourselves have taken an initiative to say, okay, we've got a problem, and we need to address it. And the problem, coming back to the fact that culturally it's what we are, and alcoholism it's a progressive addiction. Now, by progressive I mean it gets it escalates, it grows, it gets bigger. So you could start off by saying, okay, I'll just have, you know, 2 pints and a shot at night, and that will just grow.
But why does it grow? Is there something in alcohol that makes you, you know, is there a chemical in there that's into your brain that's addicted, that gets that
Yeah, I
addiction,
mean,
like tobacco does, or other drugs?
The chemical is there, but it's the key thing to remember is that it doesn't affect everybody in the same way, right? Now, like I said to you before, if I pick up a drink now, I would go back to square one. That doesn't necessarily mean you'd have the same effect. It's about recognizing. Sometimes it's about looking inward.
Yep.
And if you think to yourself that actually my drinking pattern is a bit erratic here, it's not normal, I'm drinking too much, or I can't go any day without having a drink, whether that be in the morning, whether that be in the evening, and quantity doesn't matter. You can't measure somebody by saying,
Yeah, see, some people say, I don't drink spirits, I only drink cans.
That doesn't matter. I know somebody who, if he doesn't have a pint of lager at 7 o'clock in the evening, It's like a Jekyll and Hyde situation.
Wow.
You could be happy the 1 minute, and if he doesn't get it, he is proper miserable, and
Yeah.
he's ratty, and and he's not a nice person to be around until he gets that beer.
Yep.
Right. So there's not, you can't say, oh, until somebody drinks a bottle a day, then he doesn't need help, or she doesn't need help. So if you at any point think that it's not normal, or I'm sort of slipping here, I can see myself sort of falling into a habit or a pattern.
Yep.
Right. Talk to someone.
But say it's fine. Like you're saying that you were quite strong. You were able to break that bond. But what about the people that are like they're going to work and they're going around their business, they're doing their daily job, and they'll drink no matter. But say, I know it might be some women, for example, that are married to partners like that. But also women are also suffering from the same problem. But say, for example, it was a woman that's saying to their partner, "Oh, they know that he's always drinking," and they'll just say, "It's okay, it's okay. It's just he works hard, he's good for the person." They don't see the whole issue of that, or they're thinking, "Oh, he's not drinking that much," or they're scared to say anything because they don't want to rock the status quo. They don't want to get a divorce probably at the end of the day and think that they're going to ruin the kids' lives by trying to get this person to stop drinking.
Just two things there. First of all, I wasn't strong, and I didn't just snap out of it. It was a long, sort of drawn out process. But in answer to your main question, if you don't rock that status quo, if you look at the bigger picture, and at the end of the day, that road is leading to destruction anyway. If you don't sit that person down and say, look, I've noticed this and this is going on, right? Especially if you're living with somebody or you're married to somebody and you can see where it's going, then you need to sit that person down and say, look, we need to get you some help. But the key thing to remember here is that until that person themselves decides to access that help, or decides that, yes, I've actually got a problem, there is nothing that you and I can do.
You're saying that, and I'm looking at the cameras now, because there's lots of families out there now, and unfortunately I can't speak Punjabi that well. Maybe you could explain, but those families out there that've got someone, a husband or a wife that or a son that they can't get off the drink, and they can't get into his head that he needs to stop drinking. What can they do?
First of all, I always talk about alcoholism like a whirlwind, right? Or some people call it the ripple effect. It doesn't just destroy the person that's drinking. It destroys everything in its path.
Yep.
Whether that be his parents or her parents, husband, wife, kids,
Yep.
siblings. I know that I put my dad and my siblings, my nieces and nephews through hell when I was drinking. So I know that when somebody's affected by somebody else's drinking, they need that support too. And there are agencies out there, there are people out there. I'm associated with an agency called Shanti, that is a part of Aquarius. They do help the people that are affected by somebody else's drinking. And the best thing about that is that when they get the help, the person that's drinking gets curious and saying, where are these going? Or why are these people, why is my mom or my dad or my wife or my husband talking to these people? What are they actually getting out of it? And when they see the change in their personalities, that's when they think, okay, if they're getting happier or if they're getting better, maybe I should access that too.
So tell me a bit more about Shanti, for example, because I think in the Asian culture, a lot of people will be saying to their partner, "Oh, I've got to get him to the doctor to get him referred," and stuff like that. What can I do? And I'm not going to the GP. I've got no problem. I've got no drink problem. Why should I go to the GP? And and that sort of behaviour, or they think that, oh, they're going to take their partner to the GP. They think, oh, some auntie or some uncle could be there, or they'll find out, the doctor will tell someone, or that it will go round that they'll do that. How would they contact you as an independent? I mean, not going. The GP is a path as well, which they should really go through as well.
I think that in all instances, I strongly advise the GP, because medical intervention is very important. Now, if somebody's drinking a lot, we always say don't take them off straight away. There are downsides to that as well. There are very serious side effects.
Really,
to that.
what would be the side effects?
I think the biggest and the most dangerous side effect is having seizures. Like, imagine your body's so used to having this chemical inside it,
Yep.
and lots of it, and then all of a sudden you take it away. your body's going to go into panic mode. So where is that thing? Where is that thing that's been given to me all the time, right? So that's very dangerous. So
Yep.
a seizure is when your body sort of like, all of its defense mechanisms and all the panic buttons and everything else are all kicked in at the same time, and it all goes into overload.
Yep.
So doing that is very dangerous. So you see your GP, and the beauty of this country especially is that when you see any of the professionals, whether it's your GP or whether you see us at Shanti or whether you see anybody else, every service is confidential. What happens between you and your GP in that room is going to stay between you and that GP unless you give them written consent to say, yes, you can actually share this information with somebody else, with another professional team. Not to the GP so the GP can share it with his
Check the
wife when he
Godwara,
gets home,
yeah.
right? Or the Gurdwara,
Yeah.
right? So that is very important. And the other thing I must make clear, on Sangat TV is that these services where you get advice and information from are always free. ਇਹ ਜਿੰਨੀਆਂ ਵੀ ਸੇਵਾਵਾਂ ਆ, ਇਹ ਜਿੰਨੀਆਂ ਵੀ ਸੰਸਥਾਵਾਂ ਆ, ਜਿੱਥੋਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਸਲਾਹ ਮਿਲਦੀ ਹੈ, ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਮਸ਼ਵਰਾ ਮਿਲਦਾ, ਇਹ ਹਮੇਸ਼ਾ ਮੁਫਤ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ ਔਰ ਇਹ ਹਮੇਸ਼ਾ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਜਿੰਨਾ ਵੀ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਇਨਫੋਰਮੇਸ਼ਨ ਹੈ ਇਹ ਗੁਪਤ ਰੱਖਣਗੇ। ਇਹ ਕਦੇ ਵੀ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਦੱਸਦੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਵੀ ਹਾਂ ਵੀ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਫਲਾਣੇ ਦਾ ਮੁੰਡਾ ਆਇਆ ਸੀ ਜਾਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਕੁੜੀ ਆਈ ਸੀ ਤਾਂ ਯਾਰ ਉਹ ਤਾਂ ਇੱਦਾਂ ਪੀਂਦੇ ਨਹੀਂ। ਇਹ ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਗੁਪਤ ਰੱਖਿਆ ਜਾਊਗਾ ਔਰ ਇਹ ਸੇਵਾਵਾਂ ਸਾਰੀਆਂ ਮੁਫਤ ਹੁੰਦੀਆਂ। ਜੇਕਰ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਕੋਲੋਂ ਕੋਈ ਸਲਾਹ ਦਾ ਜਾਂ ਕੋਈ ਮਸ਼ਵਰੇ ਦਾ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਕੋਲੋਂ ਕੋਈ ਪੈਸਾ ਮੰਗਦਾ ਤੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਗਲਤ ਜਗ੍ਹਾ ਤੇ ਪਹੁੰਚ ਗਏ, ਉੱਥੇ ਦੁਬਾਰਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਜਾਣਾ।
Okay. What I was just going to say again, we've got a phone call, a phone line, because obviously we've got an expert in now, so it's really good. If anyone has got any questions, then you can call us on 0121 516 2828. That's 0121 516 2828. I mean, these ain't the views of Sangat TV, particularly. This is just obviously you're a guest, and obviously I'm just a presenter. But these are common views and common values that, unfortunately, a lot of people, maybe in the Punjabi world, wouldn't understand that they can get that help and that guidance that they need.
I think. Especially recently, and there was a time when this was a very big taboo subject and it was all shush shush and it was all brushed under the carpet. And I think now the awareness is out there, people are talking about it more freely, and I think the new generation, right, the next sort of Nami Piri as we call it in Punjabi, they're more open and more sort of more sort of prone to go out and access help, and the internet helps. If anybody wants to search anything, it's all the information and advice and everything is readily available on the internet, and contact details, whether it's our contact details or wherever you are in the country, wherever you are in the world for that matter, right? Contact details are available. There are internet chat forums and everything else. So there is a whole world out there that's ready and willing to help. I mean, when I gave up, somebody held their hand out to me.
How did just on that front? So a bit back. So you've given up, which there's a lot of people out there, wives or mums, thinking, how did you give up? Because they can't get their kids to give up. How did you make that step? What made you do that? That first step.
The lead up to my giving up was basically I spent 10 years from the age of 15 to 25 in this horrible state where I wanted to give up.
Yep.
But I couldn't. Somewhere along the lines, once the longest I went without a drink was 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
And then after 3 months, it just caught me out of the blue. Something in my head told me, you've done 3 months now, you deserve a reward.
Yep.
I went to the pub. Before I knew it, 1 pint led to 2.
How much were you drinking there before?
I was, towards the end, it was pretty much as I could get hold of, to get up off my bed in the morning, I needed a 20 cl bottle of either vodka or whiskey, neat, for me to be able to get up and, brush my teeth.
So you'd have a shot in the morning before you'd...
I'd have more than a shot. I'd have a quarter bottle.
A quarter bottle in the morning?
Yeah. If I didn't, hands would be shaking, I'd be throwing up. At one stage I had blood pouring out of my eyes, out of my ears, everywhere you can think of and everywhere you can't think of. And I was bringing up big lumps of blood. And that basically was my food pipe, my esophagus. I'd made, with the drink, there was holes in it basically. And that's, when they say "Khoon di ulti," that's what it means. So I've still to date, I've got cirrhosis of the liver.
Yep.
It's been 20 years now since I've been going to Queen Elizabeth Hospital. I started off having to go every day to outpatients appointments. That's after staying there. I ended up in a coma for 19 days. And after, started off every day, then every 2 days, then every week. And now, after 20 years, they've moved it to once a year.
Oh, brilliant.
And even now, every time I go, they put a camera down my throat to make sure that my esophagus is fine. They know that I've got cirrhosis of the liver. They know I've got gallstones and pancreatitis.
And then that will heal itself now.
Right. It's because I went overboard.
Yeah.
Your liver will heal itself, but only to a certain stage.
They're saying
when
that
you've
liver
gone,
just go.
but when you go past that stage, right? Especially when you get into cirrhosis, and I've got scarring of the liver, I've got fatty tissue of the liver. It's irreversible, right? So there's a myth that's going around. Oh, the liver will repair itself. Yes, when you've only done a small amount of damage.
Yeah.
But when you've got chronic liver disease, that's not reversible. And I don't drink now. And like I said, it's been 20 years, but those problems are still there. The damage I did all of those years ago, I can't walk away from that.
Yeah.
So coming back to those guidelines, the 14 units a week, that's why those are in place, so that you don't do long-term damage. That's why binge drinking is not advisable. The liver has hundreds of jobs to do, and without you having to giving it a whole lot of alcohol to deal with as well.
Poison in return
In
for
a
the
way.
liver. Yeah, it's so hard for the liver to cope with that. So you what made was that the thing that made you move when you to make the move to stop? Was it your health reasons that actually woke you up that time and thought, I can't do this? Because were you married at that time?
I got married against family wishes and everything else.
Against family wishes?
Well, my family were against me getting married because it's arranged marriage in India. My brothers and sisters would try and talk my in-laws out of it because my brothers and sisters knew that I only had a couple of months left.
Okay.
They knew I was going to die, and they didn't want to ruin my wife's life. My dad, on the other hand, said, no, I know my son. My dad, and I think this is very important to mention as well, family is very important.
Yeah.
My dad, he passed away in 2009, but he never left my side. I did all sorts of horrible and mean things in my alcoholism. I'd leave the house for like 3 months at a time, and he'd always come and find me. And he always stuck by me, and he is the biggest reason why I'm still here. Because he didn't let go. And that's why family and family support is very important. And so my dad got me married, and it's a long story. I mean, somebody up there was watching, and I actually got bitten by a snake in India.
Okay.
Yeah, right. And that snake saved my life, because with that snake bite, on top of all the other damage that I'd done to my insides, my liver collapsed, and it got to a stage where one by one my other organs were going to start failing.
Yeah.
And I was flown out of India in emergency back to England, and that's where I went into a coma and my treatment started.
Okay.
When I came out of the coma, the surgeon, he said to me, if you ever wanted to commit suicide, he said, don't bother picking up, don't bother with a gun, or a knife or a rope. Just pick up a drink, and it'll do the trick. And those words are still fresh in my ears now. They're still ringing my ears.
Well, so
But stopping the drinking is a very big part of the story, but the actual bigger part of the story is the maintenance. It's being able to now be a part of that culture that I talked about, where we have a big drinking culture.
Yep.
I'm still part of that culture. I'm as Punjabi as they come, right? But I don't drink.
Yeah.
I still partake in the music industry, right? And I'm busier now than I was all those years ago. I play more music, and I'm involved with more projects and everything else now than I was all those years ago. But I don't drink. I hang around with the same people. I hang around with them more. I see them more often now, as I did all those years ago.
But but
I don't drink.
But does everyone keep saying to you, or any of your crowd that you hang around with, even though they know your problems that you got, anyone ever said to you, come and have a drink, or?
I think you'll always get that.
Yeah.
People don't understand. They don't understand that I can't. right? Even if I ever wanted to, which, you know, touch wood, that hasn't happened,
Yep.
right? I know that I can't,
Mm.
and it's up to me to say, sorry, but I can't do it.
Yeah.
Rather than getting angry at them because they don't know.
Yeah.
Right? You should be okay now. But for me, it's not the case. To me, it's one or the other, and I'm okay. I'm grateful. I'm very thankful for where I am today.
Yeah.
You know, alcohol has no part of my life.
That's
You know.
really good.
But you know, sometimes you do get people. You never mind friends. You get family members. When my son was born, when my daughter and my second son was born, you know, so on and so forth. Weddings, you know, you get close. You know, my nephews have been married, nieces have been married. My Sarah's wedding was the hardest. That was in India with my in-laws.
Yeah.
You know, and cool to see, and big. You know, India does everything bigger than, you know, larger than life. And you know, when your father-in-law says, that was hard.
Yeah.
You know, you had to explain to him, "Bene Papa, I can't."
Mm.
You know, and to them it's like,
Yeah.
you know, and that's our culture, because
Yeah.
it's a cushy thing. It's not anything else. But what we need to be mindful of is the amount that we do. We need to take on this awareness, and we need to take on this information that's been given to us, like you said, the BBC research, and listen to what your doctors are saying. Listen to what you know, people like Sangat TV are bringing these programs to you, and listen to what they're saying, because it is real. Then we're not just saying it for the sake of it. We're not just saying. You know, I'll be brutally honest. I'm not just sitting here for the sake of being on TV.
Yeah.
We come on music videos all the time anyway, right? You know, we're sitting here because I've been very lucky, and I've pulled through, and somebody gave me this message, and I'm just relaying that message on, right? And you know, the point I was going to come to is about the message is that when I gave up the drinking and come back into the society, it's about staying off, you know, and that's where, you know, the agencies like the one I mentioned, like Shanti, and there are other agencies. There's Alcoholics Anonymous. There's Smart Recovery.
Yeah.
Attending those meetings, I still go. Why do I go? Because it reminds me of everything I'm saying
So you
now.
still, need to go,
Right.
just to help you.
It's like looking in the mirror, and in that mirror you see that same person that was drinking all those years ago, and you think, I'm not going there again. In those meetings you see people with the same problems or the same recovery stories, the same smiles or the same sadness, everything. Those are people that have been through exactly what you've been through. And you know, when you meet people like that, you know, especially when you're trying to give up, when you meet someone that's just given up and has just gone 5 days, it's a massive inspiration. You then think, if he or she can do it, so can I, and it helps you. It is the best form of recovery. It's actually called mutual aid, so it sort of helps both people.
Yep.
Right? Somebody could be, I mean, I've seen people in these rooms that are 35, 40 years sober, and they get just as inspired, like they, you know, by seeing somebody who comes in for the first day. They will run and they will give everything to you, their time and effort, everything's for free, because they know what it's like. They know how much guts it takes to walk into one of those rooms, how much guts it takes to say, I've got a problem. You know, it's not easy, and I'm not sitting here pretending that, you know, why aren't people coming forward? Because it's not easy. It's the most scariest thing that I ever did, you know, and it's the biggest, you know, leap that somebody can take.
Yep.
But, you know, I can sit here and I as proof in the pudding, as it were, and I can promise you that if you do take that step, it does help.
Okay. So, you know, it's what I find hard is, like, you know, it's fine to talk about it. It might be good actually to explain a little bit in Punjabi as well. For, you know, there's mothers out there, there's wives out there that have got that problem, that can't, you know. So, for example, you've got your Shanti project that they can contact. There's stuff like Sikh Helpline. There's other charities as well that are
Definitely.
based just for the Sikh community.
ਜਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਇੱਕ ਤਾਂ ਇਹ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਸੇਵਾਵਾਂ ਨੇ ਇਹ ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਮੁਫਤ ਨੇ, ਔਰ ਇਹ ਜੋ ਵੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕਹੋਗੇ ਇਹ ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਗੁਪਤ ਰੱਖਿਆ ਜਾਊਗਾ, ਕਿਸੇ ਤਾਈਂ ਸ਼ੇਅਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਕੀਤਾ ਜਾਊਗਾ। ਇੱਥੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਸੰਸਥਾਵਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਮੇਲ ਐਂਡ ਫੀਮੇਲ ਆਦਮੀ ਵੀ ਜਨਾਨੀਆਂ ਵੀ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਮਿਲਣਗੀਆਂ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕਿ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਮਦਦ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੀਆਂ। ਔਰ ਇਹ ਇਕੱਲੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕਿ ਪੀਂਦੇ ਆ, ਜੇਕਰ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਕੋਈ ਫੈਮਿਲੀ ਮੈਂਬਰ ਵੀ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ, ਜਿਵੇਂ ਕਿ ਕਿਸੇ ਦੀ ਮਾਂ ਹੈਗੀ ਆ, ਭੈਣ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ, ਭਰਾ ਆ, ਵਾਈਫ ਆ ਜਾਂ ਹਸਬੈਂਡ ਆ, ਉਹ ਵੀ ਉਨੇ ਕੀ ਦੁਖਦਾਈ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦੇ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਤਾਂ ਵੀ ਉਨਾ ਹੀ ਅਸਰ ਪੈਂਦਾ ਇਸ ਸ਼ਰਾਬ ਦਾ। ਮੈਂ ਇਹਨੂੰ ਆਮ ਤੌਰ 'ਤੇ ਇੱਕ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਇੱਕ ਭੁਚਾਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਆਉਂਦਾ, ਇੱਕ ਭੁਚਾਲ ਦਾ ਦਰਜਾ ਦਿੰਦਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਜੋ ਇਹਦੇ ਰਾਹ 'ਚ ਆ ਗਿਆ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਨਾਲ ਹੀ ਲਪੇਟਿਆ ਜਾਂਦਾ। ਸੋ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਮੈਂ ਅਰਜ਼ ਕਰੂੰਗਾ ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਵੀ ਅੱਗੇ ਆਓ, ਫੋਨ ਕਰੋ। Seek helpline. As it says, it's the name is just self-explanatory, right? ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਨੰਬਰ ਥਾਂ ਥਾਂ 'ਤੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਮਿਲ ਸਕਦੇ, ਇੰਟਰਨੈਟ 'ਤੇ ਜਾਓ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਮਿਲ ਸਕਦੇ। ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸੰਗਤ ਟੀਵੀ ਤਾਂ ਹੀ ਸੰਪਰਕ ਕਰੋ, ਉਹ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਸਾਰੀ ਡਿਟੇਲ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਦੇਣਗੇ। ਤੁਸੀਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਫੋਨ ਕਰੋ। ਸ਼ਾਂਤੀ ਪ੍ਰੋਜੈਕਟ ਹੈਗਾ, ਬਰਮਿੰਘਮ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੈਗਾ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਫੋਨ ਕਰੋ। ਇੰਟਰਨੈਟ 'ਤੇ ਜਾਓ, ਉੱਥੇ ਸਾਰੀ ਡਿਟੇਲ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇੰਗਲੈਂਡ 'ਚ ਕਿਤੇ ਵੀ ਰਹਿੰਦੇ ਹੋ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਉੱਥੇ ਦਾ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਨੰਬਰ ਮਿਲ ਜਾਏਗਾ। ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕੰਟੈਕਟ ਕਰੋ, ਸੰਪਰਕ ਕਰੋ। ਘਰ ਬੈਠਿਆਂ ਇਕੱਲਿਆਂ ਇਹ ਸੰਤਾਪ ਹੰਢਾ ਕੇ ਇਹਦਾ ਹੱਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਨਿਕਲਣਾ। ਦੁੱਖ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਦੱਸੋਗੇ, ਦੁੱਖ ਵੰਡਾਇਆ ਜਾਣੀ ਕਿ ਮੁੱਕਦਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ। ਸੋ ਇਹ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਸੇਵਾਵਾਂ ਦਾ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਲਾਹਾ ਲਓ। ਔਰ ਜਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਅੱਗੇ ਅੰਗਰੇਜ਼ੀ 'ਚ ਵੀ ਕਿਹਾ, ਆਪਣੇ ਡਾਕਟਰ ਕੋਲ ਜਾਓ, ਡਾਕਟਰ ਨੂੰ ਆਪਣੀ ਸਾਰੀ ਪ੍ਰੋਬਲਮ ਦੱਸੋ ਕਿ ਹਾਂ ਵੀ ਆਹ ਕੁਛ ਹੋ ਰਿਹਾ, ਕਿ ਡਾਕਟਰ ਕੋਲ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਹੋਇਆ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਪ੍ਰੋਬਲਮ ਦੱਸੀ ਹੋਈ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੋਊਗੀ ਉਹ ਉਹਦੀ ਨਿਗਾਹ 'ਚ ਹੋਊਗੀ ਤਾਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਉਹ ਮਦਦ ਕਰ ਸਕੂਗਾ। ਜੇਕਰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਨਾ ਤਾਂ ਉਹ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਮਦਦ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ।
I was going to ask you on that front. Thank you very much for that. Because obviously it's fine. Let's talk about English. I know the younger generation, we can access that sort of the online with, we've got friends that will maybe, I've noticed that with alcohol, and I know it's wrong stereotype, but it's mainly the issues arrived and there's been programs on it was when the first generation came over, because they worked in really hard jobs in foundries, for example, and in manual labour, and they didn't really speak English that well, and then they had the racism and the other stuff and the pressures of getting a house and and looking after your family, sending money back home, and get all the first things when the first generation went through. They obviously, a lot of them sought drink, and that was the community thing, that they'll go to the pub in the evenings because they didn't have any sort of social. You didn't even have the Godwaras really then, and it was sort of that social sort of bonding that they'll have, and And then obviously I can see the second generation maybe that are born into that sort of field as well, that maybe didn't get that chance in life and were into that community where drink was a major factor. I don't know what your experience with Shanti is. Do you think there's a problem with the youth as well, say 18 to 34, that's got the same level as 34 onwards, would you say?
There's less of a problem.
Yep.
Right now the sort of average age across the board, not just with us, but is sort of 38 plus. 38 to 40 is the sort of age where people are accessing help. So the next generation are sort of looking at their forefathers and thinking, you know what, they've made that mistake, or they've gone down that line, and we're not going to do that. The flip side of that coin is, the dark side to that is there are other substances that the youth is sort of accessing, which is a total different topic altogether, which also needs to be addressed, and I'm sure Sangat TV will address that.
Yeah, we are going to do a different program.
So drugs is a big epidemic that is also coming into our community.
I didn't. It's weird how you said. I always thought that for the Sikh community, certain faiths are banned from drinking, and it's quite strict in their faith. And unfortunately, they have gone to the other side and used drugs to get away from the alcohol sort of use. But in the Sikh community, I thought it was they shunned more away from the drugs and went to the alcohol because of that. But obviously, you're saying in the younger generation now, they're using that, they're getting involved in that as well.
I think if I normally keep faith out of it, to be honest, and I think if we just generalise it as people, I think certainly with the younger generation, people are just doing whatever they're doing, regardless of their background. Whereas the older generation that you were talking about, certainly, like I started off by saying, it's a cultural thing. That was more prevalent, right? Because we knew that sada papa pinda hunda hai, sada taya pinda hunda si, and that's why we did it, right? So going down, it's less. I'm not saying it's not there. We are still, we do get the odd youth client that's coming in, but that's a good thing because they're nipping it in the bud. Prevention is always better than cure.
Yep.
Right, so they're coming in early. We have ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਵੱਡੀ ਅਫਸੋਸ ਵਾਲੀ ਗੱਲ ਉਦੋਂ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ ਜਦੋਂ ਕੋਈ ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਹੀ ਲਾਸਟ ਸਟੇਜ ਤੇ ਫੋਨ ਕਰਦਾ ਔਰ ਜਦੋਂ ਡਾਕਟਰਾਂ ਨੇ ਜਵਾਬ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ and they're lying in hospital and then they're saying well ਸਾਨੂੰ ਬਚਾਓ ਜਾਂ ਸਾਡਾ ਕੋਈ ਕੁਛ ਨਾ ਕੁਛ ਕਰੋ, by which time it is late. All we can give them is, you know, our job is to try and prolong their life as much as, and give them a good quality of life as much as we can.
Yeah.
But the damage is done so much, right? So that's why when somebody young comes in, it's almost like a relief because you can work with that.
Yep.
Right, and that's why, you know, we encourage the families to look out for the signs, and if that person isn't coming through, come through yourselves.
Yeah.
Because when you're constantly looking after someone with a problem, your personality changes. You change. You get some of that illness too. But when they see you getting better, when they see you smiling again, and they notice, they say, "Ino ki ho gaya?" Where are they going? What are they accessing? Who's helping them? And then curiosity always kills the cat.
Yeah.
Then they come as well.
I think I like how you're saying how it helps the other people in the family. I mean, another problem that you'll have, and maybe someone's watching this and thinking, oh, okay, so what, I'm drinking, doesn't really matter, it doesn't affect anybody else. But, you know, how alcohol affects children, for example, is a real major thing where I know kids that will say, oh, you know, my dad's drinking, or mum smells of that bad smell again, or something like that. You know, guys and girls, women that are drinking now, you know, from your point of view, the psychological effect that it has on kids, and they're, you know, more likely to suffer from depression, more likely maybe even start turning to drink as well at that at a younger stage, instead of going the other way and saying I'm not drinking at that stage. And how, you know, psychologically they don't, you know, it can affect their confidence, it can affect their education, it can affect all their well-being.
It has a massive effect across the board. I think the psychological effect of drink, and what drink can lead to, the kind of environment that's in the house, will affect everything. You know, it makes that family environment sort of dysfunctional, right? So it affects how normally you would be at home. You know, if one person's drinking, there's going to be conflict, there's going to be harsh words, and the quality of life for all concerned is not going to be there. But especially for children that need that for their development, you know, it's not there. And it's within our services, we do help children because children have a very good habit of telling the truth.
So in Shanti, for example, that who would come for you to see counselling, and how would it be the whole family would come as a unit, or?
It is entirely up to the family.
Yep.
You know, if they want to come as a family, we do accommodate that. We get a lot of people now coming as husband and wife, whether it's the wife drinking or whether it's the husband drinking. We've got to stress that it is both, and we don't judge.
Yeah.
Right. We don't look down upon anybody. We don't say, you know, why, or point
why
fingers.
is a woman drinking? Yeah.
No.
Because at the end of the day, you know, the alcohol addiction. You got to look at the word addiction. It's an addiction like people that are addicted to gambling, addicted to smoking, addicted to drugs. It's all something that just gets into your mind, whether it's chemicals, and you're stuck with it. It doesn't matter which gender you are.
The thing with alcohol, and you touched upon faiths and stuff before, the thing with addiction is that it doesn't discriminate. It's not like us. You know, we put things into, you know, higher. It doesn't do that. It doesn't discriminate between race, colour, creed, gender, faith. It doesn't care. Right? It's across the board.
Yep.
You know, a person that's dependent on alcohol, that's Punjabi, has the same symptoms as a person that's American. Right? So that's why we don't judge anybody, we don't sort of turn anybody away or anything like that. You know, if you've come to us for help, that's exactly what you'll get.
Yeah. So do you think, we were talking about the culture thing, like you're like an American, for example. Do you think for the English or an African Caribbean or whatever, you would have more success and more chance of actually coming through and getting that help rather than the Sikh community? This whole shame thing, and in Punjabi as well you can answer, because I think the problem is fine us saying about it, but I always feel that there's women at home and husbands at home, or fathers and daughters saying, what do I do? And their English isn't their first language, but you know, why it's important to get the
ਇੱਕ
counselor?
ਤਾਂ ਅੰਗਰੇਜ਼ੀ ਬੋਲਣ ਵਾਲੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਲਈ ਤਾਂ ਵੈਸੇ ਵੀ ਸਹੂਲਤਾਂ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਹੁੰਦੀਆਂ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਉਹ ਬੋਲ ਕੇ ਮੰਗ ਸਕਦੇ ਆ ਸੋ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਸਾਡੀਆਂ ਸੇਵਾਵਾਂ ਨੇ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਕਿ ਸਿੱਖ ਹੈਲਪਲਾਈਨ ਜਾਂ ਸ਼ਾਂਤੀ ਔਰ ਸਿੱਖ ਰਿਕਵਰੀ ਨੈਟਵਰਕ ਐਟਸੈਟਰਾ ਹੈਗੀਆਂ ਕਾਫੀ ਹੁਣ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਖੂਬੀ ਇਹ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ 'ਚ ਵੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ ਜੇਕਰ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਅੰਗਰੇਜ਼ੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਆਉਂਦੀ ਜਾਂ ਘੱਟ ਆਉਂਦੀ ਹੈ ਜਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਅੰਗਰੇਜ਼ੀ 'ਚ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਨਾ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਸੌਰੀ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ 'ਚ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਨੀ ਸੀ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ 'ਚ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ ਔਰ ਅਸੀਂ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਕਿ ਸਾਡਾ ਆਪਣਾ ਵੀ ਪਿਛੋਕੜ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਤੋਂ ਹੀ ਹੈ ਸੋ ਜੋ ਸਾਡੇ ਸੱਭਿਆਚਾਰ 'ਚ ਜੋ ਸਾਡੇ ਘਰਾਂ 'ਚ ਮਾਹੌਲ ਹੈ ਅਸੀਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਚੰਗੀ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਵਾਕਫ ਹਾਂ ਸਾਡਾ ਵੀ ਪਾਲਣ ਪੋਸ਼ਣ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ 'ਚ ਹੀ ਹੋਇਆ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਕਿ ਸੋ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਵੀ ਸਾਡੇ ਘਰਾਂ ਦਾ ਕਿਹੋ ਜਿਹਾ ਮਾਹੌਲ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਕਿਹੋ ਜਿਹੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਹਾਲਾਤ ਆ ਔਰ ਸਾਡਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਕਲਚਰ ਆ ਜਾਂ ਸਾਡਾ ਸੱਭਿਆਚਾਰ ਲਾ ਲਓ ਜਾਂ ਕਿਹੋ ਜਿਹੀ ਸਾਡੀ ਫੈਮਿਲੀ ਦਾ ਕਿਹੋ ਜਿਹਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਵੀ ਕੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਕਰਦੇ ਅਤੇ ਕੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਕੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਕਿੱਥੇ ਤੱਕ ਸਾਡੀ ਹੱਦ ਆ ਰਾਈਟ ਸੋ ਅਸੀਂ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਸਮਝਦੇ ਹੋਏ ਅਸੀਂ ਇਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਜਿੰਨੇ ਵੀ ਸਾਡੇ ਸੇਵਾਦਾਰ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਕੋਲ ਆਉਣ ਦਾ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਫਾਇਦਾ ਆ
So, I'll speak in just another thing you talk about. So when that person makes a move and goes to the doctor and says, I've got an alcohol problem, and they go to Alcohol Anonymous, for example, and stuff like that, and you're saying you can get seizures if you stop drinking completely and other effects, what medication, do you know, what type of medicines can they have? Because someone at home thinking, they'll just get off it, but it's a chemical imbalance, it's an addiction, it's a chemical thing that you can't get rid of without medication in most cases.
See, ਜਿਹੜੀ ਗੱਲ ਹੈਗੀ ਨਾ medication ਦੀ I can't sit here and say, oh, you can have this medication, you can have that medication, because that is completely wrong. Your doctor is the person that's best qualified. That's why you need to, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਉਹ ਡਾਕਟਰ ਹੀ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਦੱਸ ਸਕਦਾ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਐਗਜ਼ਾਮਿਨ ਕਰਕੇ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਪੁਰਾਣਾ ਰਿਕਾਰਡ ਦੇਖ ਕੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਸਿਰਫ ਡਾਕਟਰ ਹੀ ਦੱਸ ਸਕਦਾ ਵੀ ਹਾਂ ਵੀ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਆਹ ਦਵਾਈ ਸੂਟ ਪੈਣੀ ਹੈ ਆਹ ਦਵਾਈ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੂਟ ਬਣੀ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਦਵਾਈ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੀ ਕੈਮੀਕਲ ਆ ਉਹਦਾ ਉਲਟ ਅਸਰ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ ਰਾਈਟ ਤਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਬੈਕ ਟੂ ਸਕੁਆਇਰ ਵਨ ਸੋ ਇਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਡਾਕਟਰ ਕੋਲ ਜਾਣਾ ਜ਼ਰੂਰੀ ਹੈ ਔਰ ਅਸੀਂ ਵੀ ਜਦੋਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਵੀ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਆ ਅਸੀਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਇਜਾਜ਼ਤ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਡਾਕਟਰ ਨੂੰ ਦੱਸ ਜੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਲੱਗਿਆ ਵੀ ਹਾਂ ਵੀ ਇਹ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਪ੍ਰੋਬਲਮ ਹੈ ਅਸੀਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਡਾਕਟਰ ਨੂੰ ਫੋਨ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ ਜਾਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਡਾਕਟਰ ਦੇ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਅਪੋਇੰਟਮੈਂਟ 'ਤੇ ਦੱਸਾਂਗੇ ਡਾਕਟਰ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਹਾਂ ਵੀ ਫਲਾਨਾ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਮਿਲਣ ਆਇਆ ਸੀ ਆਹ ਸਮੱਸਿਆ ਇਹਦਾ ਅੱਜ ਇਹਦਾ ਆਹ ਹਾਲ ਸੀਗਾ ਇਹਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਡਾਕਟਰ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕੁਛ ਦੱਸੋ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਹੁਣ ਕੇਸ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਹੈਂਡਲ ਕਰੋ
So medication-wise, is that, because I don't know whether this is just stuff, I've heard in papers you can get tablets that will, if you have a drink, it will make you vomit and stuff like that, it will give you a reaction to that.
Again, I mean, I can mention those tablets.
Yep.
But it'd be wrong, it'd be irresponsible of me.
Okay.
Right.
Because everyone will go there tomorrow and just say... That's what, actually, thinking about it now, from your point of view, when you just said that, there's no point, because you could just go to a GP and get them tablets and say you're going to do it. But it's going to cause even more effect.
Do whatever you're going to do. Safety is paramount.
Yep.
We're sitting here trying to promote people's health.
Yep.
And the best way to promote somebody's health and keep somebody safe and healthy is to promote the fact that if you're going to take any medication, seek your GP's advice first. It's paramount, right? Don't, and all due respect to all religious leaders, but don't ask your religious leader or your granddad, right?
Yep.
Because that just isn't going to work, right? Your doctor is the best qualified person to give you that advice, and it could be that you could be suffering from another condition and that medication is just not right for you.
Yep.
It's just going to make you worse.
Okay. What I was going to say again, it's a phone-in show. It's the number is 0121 516 2828. That's 0121 516 2828. You should see it at the bottom of the television screen as well if you want to ask any advice. Another thing that's just coming up is unit pricing now, because I think in Scotland they've got unit pricing now and it's quite expensive for alcohol. Are you in favour of that move being brought across the UK to England and other parts?
It's a very good question. It's also a question that just today on BBC Midlands Today that I've been debating about. Minimum unit pricing would be a good thing. because obviously it sort of it, it, it puts the price up, which kind of deters people. It's a deterrent, right? But what I'm worried about
I'm worried about something as well,
right, is that those people that are dependent,
where they get money from.
right? A, where are they going to get the money from? So that leads to a whole lot of other problems. And B, right, it sort of opens the doors for illegal alcohol. Now, just last week, I met a person. I was delivering some training to an institution, and I met a guy who ਉਹਦੀ ਸੱਜੀ ਅੱਖ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਨਿਗਾਹ ਚਲੀ ਗਈ ਜਾਲੀ ਸ਼ਰਾਬ ਪੀ ਕੇ.
But where did you get that from then?
This is it. When these minimum unit prices are going up, right, ਗੈਰ ਕਾਨੂੰਨੀ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਇੰਡੀਆ 'ਚ ਭੱਠਿਆਂ ਵਾਲੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਦੇਸੀ ਸ਼ਰਾਬ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ, ਰੂੜੀ ਮਾਰਕਾ ਜਿਹਨੂੰ ਅਸੀਂ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਰਾਈਟ, ਉਹ ਚੱਲਣੀ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਹੋ ਜਾਣੀ ਹੈ, ਰਾਈਟ. ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਕੋਈ ਪਤਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੀ ਕੀ ਪੈਂਦਾ.
I've heard of nail varnish and stuff like that
right.
being put in.
You don't know how much percent it is, right? So ਉਹਦਾ ਖਤਰਾ ਹੈ. ਸੋ ਇੱਕ ਪਾਸੇ ਮੈਂ ਕਹਿ ਰਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਹਾਂ ਠੀਕ ਹੈ ਜੀ, ਪ੍ਰਾਈਸ ਵਧਾਉਂਦੇ ਆ ਸ਼ਰਾਬ ਦੀ, ਉਹ ਇੱਕ ਚੰਗੀ ਗੱਲ ਹੈ, ਪਰ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਉਹ ਵੱਧ ਪੈਸਾ ਲੈ ਰਿਹਾ ਆ ਸ਼ਰਾਬ ਦਾ, ਉਹ ਯੂਨਿਟਸ ਦਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਵੱਧ ਪੈਸਾ ਲਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਆ, ਜੇਕਰ ਉਹ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਪੈਸਾ ਉਹ ਕਿਸੇ ਚੰਗੀ ਜਗ੍ਹਾ ਲਾਉਣ, ਰਾਈਟ, ਜਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਇਹਦੀ ਰਿਸਰਚ ਤੇ ਲਾਉਣ, ਜਾਂ ਆ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਟ੍ਰੀਟਮੈਂਟ ਸੈਂਟਰਸ ਆ, right now if you're looking to go into treatment and you're not on the NHS, it's very expensive.
Yeah, it's a couple of thousand
Rehabs.
pounds, £5,000-6,000 it was just for 3 months.
Depends on where you go. ਇਦੋਂ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਵੀ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ,
Okay.
right? So ਆਮ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਬੰਦਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਆ ਉਹ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਅਫੋਰਡ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰ ਸਕਦਾ, ਰਾਈਟ. ਸੋ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਇਹ ਵੱਧ ਪੈਸਾ ਲਾਉਣਾ, ਮੈਂ ਇਹ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਤੇ ਮੈਂ ਤੇ ਇਹੀ ਕਹੂੰਗਾ, ਮੈਂ ਬੇਨਤੀ ਕਰੂੰਗਾ ਕਿ ਜੇਕਰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਵੱਧ ਪੈਸਾ ਲੈਣਾ ਹੀ ਹੈ ਸ਼ਰਾਬ ਦਾ, ਉਹ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਵੱਧ ਪੈਸਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਉਹ ਹੋਰ ਪਾਸੇ ਲਾਉਣ ਦੀ ਬਜਾਏ ਇਸ ਐਡਿਕਸ਼ਨ ਦੀ ਰਿਸਰਚ ਤੇ ਲਾਓ ਜਾਂ ਟ੍ਰੀਟਮੈਂਟ ਸੈਂਟਰਸ ਤੇ ਲਾਓ, ਤਾਂ ਕਿ ਇਹ ਪ੍ਰੋਬਲਮ, ਇਹ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਸਮੱਸਿਆ ਦਾ ਕੋਈ ਹੱਲ ਨਿਕਲ ਸਕੇ, ਇਹਦਾ ਕੋਈ ਕਿਸੇ ਹਾਲ ਦਾ, ਕੋਈ ਢੰਗ ਦਾ ਕੋਈ ਇਲਾਜ ਬਣ ਸਕੇ, ਜਿਹੜਾ ਕਿ ਹਰੇਕ ਬੰਦਾ, ਆਮ ਆਦਮੀ ਵੀ ਉਸ ਇਲਾਜ ਨੂੰ ਐਕਸੈਸ ਕਰ ਸਕੇ.
See, I was thinking, you know, I know it's bad to say, but, you know, alcohol, for example, if it was invented now, maybe it would have been banned if you thought about, you know, the legal highs they're trying to ban, but it is almost it is a legal high. For example, we never get that way that we can get a ban on on alcohol now in the UK. But whether we could get something where we could ban a certain high percentage, again, it's going to be if they can get away from where it's 2% alcohol, for example, at lower level. All drinks were at 2 or 3%. Instead of now, lagers, I remember when I was younger, lager used to be 3%. Yeah, and now it's 5%.
I'll tell you why I'm laughing.
Are you on about gold label?
No.
Okay.
ਮੇਰਾ brother ਸੀਗਾ, ਵੱਡਾ brother, he's passed away now, right? ਤੇ ਉਹ ਇੱਕ ਦਿਨ ਆਇਆ ਘਰ ਤੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਡੈਡ ਨੂੰ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਵੀ ਪਾਪਾ ਜੀ ਮੈਂ ਸ਼ਰਾਬ ਛੱਡਤੀ. ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਯਾਰ ਬੜੀ ਖੁਸ਼ੀ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਹੈ, ਪਰ ਤੂੰ ਯਾਰ ਦੇਖਦਾ ਫਿਰਦਾ ਵੀ ਯੂ ਸਟਿਲ ਡਰੰਕ. ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਹਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਪੱਕੀ ਛੱਡਤੀ, ਉਹੀ ਹੁਣ 16-17 ਗਲਾਸ ਵੀ ਲਈ ਦੇ. Right, so if you're gonna make it 2% and just have 10 of those, right, ਗੱਲ ਤਾਂ ਉੱਥੇ ਆ ਗਈ.
It will still do the same damage.
Right. So I think what I've said on the BBC today as well, I think with these policies, right, whatever somebody's going to do, and with the powers that be, you know, the people that write the laws, ਜਿਹੜੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਕਾਨੂੰਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਬਣਾਉਂਦੇ ਆ, ਇਹਨਾਂ ਕਾਨੂੰਨਾਂ ਦਾ you know, ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਪਾਸ ਕਰਨਾ ਜਿਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ, ਉਹ ਥੋੜ੍ਹਾ ਜਿਹਾ ਸੋਚ ਸਮਝ ਕੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਬਣਾਓ. ਔਰ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਕਿ ਹੁਣ ਆਪਣੀ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਅੱਗੇ ਆਈ ਆ, ਰਾਈਟ, ਚਾਹੇ ਉਹ BBC ਤੇ ਆ, ਚਾਹੇ ਸੰਗਤ TV ਤੇ ਆ, ਚਾਹੇ ਉਹ ਕਿਸੇ ਵੀ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕਿ ਸੋਸ਼ਲ ਮੀਡੀਆ ਦੇ ਜ਼ਰੀਏ ਆਪਾਂ ਅੱਗੇ ਆਏ ਆ, ਹੁਣ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਮੁੱਦੇ ਆ, our issues, ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਨਜ਼ਰ ਰੱਖਦਿਆਂ ਹੋਇਆਂ ਕਾਨੂੰਨ ਬਣਾਉਣਗੇ. I'm sure they will, because you know, we've got our MPs now, you know, Preet Shergill and Tanman Desi, and these people are there and they will represent us.
Representing, just we've got 3 minutes left. Godwaras, could they not help more often? Could they not get someone like yourself or someone from a community coming in every single week in a Godwara in Birmingham?
It is happening. It is happening.
It is happening now.
It is happening.
And it will continue to happen.
It just needs to happen across the board. Derby, it started off, Guru Arjan Dev Gurdwara in Derby. ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਇੱਕ ਬਹੁਤ ਵੱਡਾ ਉਪਰਾਲਾ ਕੀਤਾ ਸੀਗਾ. ਸੋ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਦੇਖਦਿਆਂ ਹੋਇਆਂ ਸਿੰਘ ਸਭਾ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰਾ ਇਨ ਸਾਊਥ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਵੀ बहुत बड़ा बीड़ा चुका है उन्होंने running a very successful
But do you think it'd
campaign.
be good though? So it is running, but we need to get it nationalised. We need to make sure it's weekly, that there's someone always there, because it's fine. You know, again, it was fine listening to Bart and being into that emotion and being in the Godwara. But if you've got real underlying issues which are going to affect you when you're outside of the Godwara,
I think
the Godwara needs to see as a Sikh community, although it's not part of our faith, that it's part of our culture. We need to get them away in that and in the right
well,
path.
here in the Midlands, Gyani Sukha Singh
Yeah, from Sikh Helpline.
from Sikh Helpline, myself, and a few other like-minded people, even people from the Nishkam Centre here in Birmingham, a very big institution. We are constantly meeting, we are constantly getting our heads around the table to do just that.
Okay, you just got 30 seconds now. We're almost about to finish now, but you want to wrap up about what you see of anyone who's got that issue making the first step. Just that 10 seconds, just saying how you can make the first step.
फ़ोन चको या इंटरनेट ते जाओ, घबराओ ना, ये बिल्कुल मुफ्त है और बिल्कुल गुफ्त है, ये जितनी भी सेवा हैगी आ, घर बैठे, do not suffer in silence. If you have a problem, just put your hand up and say you've got a problem and I need help, and it will be there.
Okay, thanks a lot for that. Once again, thanks viewers for watching this show. It's going to be weekly show 6 till 7. It's a phone-in show. And thanks a lot for watching Everyday Matters. And remember, it's a show for you, by you. So you'll make the show and we'll look at taboo issues that are no longer seen in the community. So thanks a lot and view in next time. Thanks and goodbye.